guys, good morning. My name is Lady Selena coming at you from witchcrafttv.online, your one-stop shop for all things wondrous. Ah boy, here we go. We live in a very different America. To some degree, America's gone backwards. We're not going forwards. And for some reason, the Christians believe that, oh my gosh, they're being victimized. Oh my gosh, the Christian empire is back. I want to make something really clear. Christianity was born out of a rebellion. They have plagiarized text. They believe in a certain dogma which simply doesn't work in American culture. They're so they're so fearful. They're so kind of itching for a fight. So I saw this editorial and I thought that we would jump in and kind of discuss it, right? Ah, boy. So, like, where do we even begin with this? Oh, boy. Editorial. It's about time someone stood up for the US's persecuted Christian minority. How about the Christians actually want to work with us? How about the Christians actually deciding that maybe they should be working with other religions, right? Maybe they should be kind of trying to fit into the status quo. And it's kind of hilarious, right? How things are playing out, especially in America. So, without further ado, let's jump into this article. Fruity language ahead, sarcasm alert. This is a very sarcastic article. All right, let's do this. This is by Erico Scott. Go follow him over on X. According to a cable obtained by multiple news agencies, including The Guardian and Politico. Now, okay, I try to avoid politics because that's not my brand, but sometimes I have to cover it, so I do apologize. Members of the US State Department have been ordered to anonymously report on their colleagues for instances of anti-Christian bias that took place during the Biden administration. The directive, which has been carried out as part of Trump's executive order from February the 6th, eradicating anti-Christian bias, asked for the department's employees to turn in names, dates, locations for these incidents within less than a week. This is borderline batshit craziness. It really is. First of all, I'm going to be kind of bitchy here. I'm going to say that who cares if you're Christian or not, right? But when you're at work, you're not there to be like, oh my gosh, I'm a Christian. Everybody else bow down, right? You're at work to do a freaking job. Like, I believe that religion has no place in the work environment to begin with. So if there is any anti-Christian bias, it's because people are finally getting sick and tired of having Christianity forced on them. We just want to work. We want to make ends meet. We don't want people in the work environment going, you've got to turn to the good book. There's a time and a place for that. And it ain't in the workplace. But again, I think that what's been going on is there is a lot of paranoia, and Trump wants to turn the country into a Christian nation, which ain't going to work. It's been done before and it failed. People are not buying the Kool-Aid anymore, right? They see Christianity as something which is fundamentally flawed because it is fundamentally flawed. Christianity is a failing cult, if you want to call it that. And I use the term cult lightly, but it is a cult, especially if you look at the Baptists, the evangelicals, the Catholics, right? They've been getting away with morally reprehensible things with children. They've been getting away with trying to be like, oh my gosh, we're the best. Nobody can touch us. And let's all wear our crosses and hope that people buy the Kool-Aid long enough to kind of try and pretend that they're US citizens. All right, let's carry on. The findings will then be discussed at a meeting of the task force to eradicate anti-Christian violence. There is no anti-Christian violence. There is none. Like, there aren't people on the picket lines, right? Or targeting Christian homes. This is Christianity being overly paranoid, thinking that everyone is trying to attack them. Oh my gosh, get a freaking grip. Just because you're Christian doesn't mean that everybody is out for your blood. We could care less. If you're Christian, you're Christian. But I have yet to see, I mean, yeah, sure, there have been instances where churches have been burnt, and okay, that is a pretty big deal. But that's not systemic, right? These were events that happened over the course of time. And people were attacking churches because they were sick and tired of having their communities run by people who, quite honestly, profess to be Christian, but they're not Christian. Like, when you watch these kind of televangelists, right? They could care less about people. They just want money. They just want to continue their steady income of selling a product which they cannot deliver. You can't just give people the keys to the heavens and say, oh my gosh, join us and everything will be fine. There is no Christian violence. This is the thing. If anything, the Christians have been attacking the pagan community. They've been attacking people who are different. If you dare wear a pentagram out in public, suddenly, I don't know, you're meant to be a demon incarnate that needs to be exorcised. I'm all for people representing their religion, but I draw the line when Christians are like, oh my gosh, there's anti-Christian bias. Oh my gosh, the world hates us. Jesus effing Christ. You're there to do a job. You're there to work from 9 to 5 or whatever your shift is, right? Who cares if you're Christian? If you're Christian, be Christian. If you're not Christian, don't be Christian, right? Just be yourself, enjoy the work environment, put in your hours, make some money, and basically do what you're trained to do. Not sit there in your offices going, oh my gosh, everybody's targeting me. Because guess what? They're not. People like... It's kind of like the Christians see the work environment as, oh my gosh, we're going to be attacked. Like, it's sheer lunacy, but this is where we're at in America. It really is. All right. At long last, the government is taking bold action to protect one of America's most endangered groups, Christians. Frankly, it's about time. No, they're not endangered. This is the fucking thing. Christians aren't endangered. They're an effing cult, right? They still believe in the old ways where women have no rights, where the good book, oh my gosh, we're going to read the good book. Since when do Christians think they're endangered? If anything, pagans are endangered, right? People who turn their back on the Kool-Aid, right? They ain't buying what the product is selling. But yet the Christians turn to the government and they're like, oh my gosh, we're endangered. We need a battle to survive. There is no battle to survive. America is still pretty much, there are large pockets of Christians all the way across America. So how they could dare come out with a comment like, oh my gosh, you're endangered. No, you're not. You're the ones causing the fight. You're the ones causing a breakdown in communication. You're the ones who are making the government act in a way that the government should not be acting, right? Turning people in who dare make a comment about Christianity, right? You're, like I said, you're there at work to work. You're not there to constantly have this need of the Karen approach where everything is an attack, because guess what? It's not. I mean, it really isn't. And this is a very sarcastic article, so sarcasm ahead, right? Christianity is a persecuted minority in this country. Right. Okay. So if 63% of Americans follow Christianity, then how is that persecuted? You don't see pagans taking to the streets or Satanists or whatever the situation is going, let's just attack the Christians. There are fundamental flaws with Christianity. Christianity's a cult. It can't survive. But no, there is this sense now that even though they make up a great deal of America's populace, they somehow are coming up with this rhetoric that they're endangered. Says who? This is the sheer lunacy of the clown world in which we live in, right? That means that there are only 221 million Christians in the USA. Who cares? You're still not being persecuted. There is no like burning torches, a doom, dawn, right? There are no big kind of riots targeting Christians, but yet in their isolated little dogmatic worlds, they see everything as an attack. They've lost the kind of, I don't know, mentality that America is a free country. You can believe in whatever the hell you want to believe in as long as you're not harming others. As long as you're not doing morally reprehensible shit that the Christians have been doing right from the get-go. This is the point. It's very easy for the Christians to play the blame game. They've been doing this for countless centuries and they've been getting away with it. Oh my gosh! If you say something wrong, you must be anti-Christian. No, if you say something wrong, take it like a man or a woman or whatever, right? Move on with your fucking life. You're there. And in the work environment, you are there to do a job. There is always going to be banter. There's always going to be the work, the toxic work environment. That's just the nature of work. That's just the nature of going out and providing for your families. But these Christians are acting like Karens, right? Don't even get me started on that. But it's like everything is an attack. Even if you look at a Christian monk, oh my gosh, those like pagans or anti-Christians, they're attacking. No, we're not. No, we're not. All right, let's carry on. It's even more unlikely that such a despised group of people could garner the votes to participate in public life, much less elect politicians who would share their faith and seek to enact legislation in line with their values. Given all the hardships, oh yeah, because Christians have so much hardship in their life. I'm just trying to think of what hardships they face. Let us take a moment in silence to honor the hardships. No, they don't have hardships. They have batshit craziness, but they sure as hell don't have hardships. You don't see Christians kind of, I don't know, forming large committees to, I don't know, but they don't have hardships. This is the point. All right. Ah, boy, let's carry on. Consider some of the horrors, the diplomatic cable references as potential forms of anti-Christian bias. And again, this article is very sarcastic, so please don't get all riled up, right? All right, let's carry on. The Guardian says, and I quote, one example of the bias the department once reported includes mistreatment for opposing displaying of flags, banners, or honor paraphernalia. Dear Christians, grow the fuck up. A thinly veiled reference to pride flags displayed at U.S. embassies under the previous administration, the cable specifically points to policies related to preferred personal pronouns because, after all, oh my gosh, a pronoun might be anti-Christian. Holy shit, who would have known? Jesus Christ! Since when is using a pronoun an attack? Like, we got to this point where Christians think the different flags are somehow controversial. Oh my gosh! This must be an attack on Christianity. Guess what? Within the Pride movement, there are Christians. Deal with it, bro. Grow the hell up. I mean, 2 cents, right? I just find it hilarious how people look at pronouns and they look at preferred names, and to the Christians, this is an attack. I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around how stupid this is, right? So if you're a Christian, right, and somebody tells you their pronouns, what is that an attack? Are you somehow sparking a fight? Pronouns are pronouns. They're freaking part of linguistics. They're not used to attack Christians. Pride flags are not used to attack Christians. State flags or flags belonging to people, right? They're not there to attack Christians. They're flags. Deal with it. Grow up and deal with it. We pagans, right? We don't get offended by flags. We're not going to go into a public building and be like, oh my gosh, you've got a flag. Run away. This is bad for us. But this is how the Christians are behaving. Everything is an attack. You know, and how dare you try and support your own personal belief? What about the countless Muslims, right? What about those of the Jewish faith? What about Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, etc., right? The world is full of different religions, but they're not attacking Christians. They could care less because they see the fundamental flaws in Christianity. To be perfectly honest, Christianity is like a Ponzi scheme, right? Here, take my money, and in exchange, you think you're going to get by a seat in heaven. Does that work? No. Priests don't have the power to absolve your sins. It's not how it works, right? You can't just go to confessional and think, oh my gosh, I'm free. No, you're not. I mean, you go to a confessional and, okay, you say some morally reprehensible shit, but does that absolve your sins? No. But we pagans aren't attacking Christianity. We're looking at this as sheer, total, and complete batshit, crazy paranoia and total and complete lunacy. Oh my gosh, they used a pronoun. They must be anti-Christian. No, that's not how life works. Pronouns are pronouns. They're parts of, like I said, they're parts of linguistics. They're parts of the unified language. And as for flags, right? Who gives a shit what flags you fly? Unless there are certain flags you shouldn't be flying. But there we go. All right, let's continue. I assure you, reader, that these are true things that the Christians have been forced to endure. They have been made to walk past pride flags being flown at embassies, the sigil of their hated oppressors, the queer community. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to keep a straight face reading this article because in Trump's America, people have lost their proverbial shit. They really have. If you think a flag offends you, if you think being gay, bi, whatever, right, offends you, you've got bigger problems than just trying to cite anti-Christian bias. You got some problems you better see a therapist to address because the problem is you. The problem is your dogmatic view of life. Your problem is, oh my gosh, right? Grow the hell up. Stop getting offended by things. You know, if you don't like people who have a diverse lifestyle, you don't like people who have a diverse lifestyle. Nobody's attacking you. It's a personal preference, right? But no, the Christians like, well, oh my gosh, we've got to go on the offensive. We've got to turn people in who might be gay, bi, lesbian, whatever, right? Who might be spreading anti-Christian dogma. Jesus Christ, we live in clown world. We don't live in a country which is meant to be the shining example. We live in an effing clown world. I mean, talking about an overreaction, Jesus effing Christ, right? Okay. Ah, boy. Okay, let's continue. The queer community who at 9.3% of the US population. Watch out, everyone. 9.3%. Runaway Christians. Oh my gosh. I mean, I shouldn't have to do these things. Yeah, if you want to join, Harold, I sent you a link if you're busy. Oh, Jesus. I am trying my best to keep a straight face doing this. Harold Carson III says, I've recently been exploring how Jesus and Dionysus say, yeah, to be perfectly honest, Christians stole from other faiths. I'm just going to be honest. It's what they kind of do, it's what they're famous for. When the Bible was written, it stole stories from every other world's religions that they could find. Basically, how the empire was formed was to gain information using the trade routes, right? You've got to remember, Christianity was born out of a rebellion against Rome, out of a rebellion against Judaism. So what the Christians did was like, oh my gosh, some of these stories we heard on the trade routes, let's use them. Some of the Greek gods and goddesses, let's incorporate them into the Bible without actually saying who they were. Let's create characters. Let's create a narrative, which no longer works in 2025. The Christian narrative does not work in 2025. It just doesn't. People are sick and tired of hearing, I mean, this is where I get controversial. Oh my gosh, here we go. People are sick and tired of going to work and being proselytized to. We're sick and tired of having evangelists and all of this coming to our doors going, have you heard the good word? What good word? The Bible is full of plagiarized BS, which is designed to make you afraid, which is designed to make you spend and spend and spend and spend and spend and pay a tithe and listen to pastors who aren't who aren't living how they should be living. Most of these pastors, right? They've been doing some morally reprehensible things with kids. Not all, but most. But every Sunday, people go to the mega churches, they fork over money which they don't have in exchange for the Ponzi scheme in which the Bible was designed to do. Hey, look, we've got a religious text. And this religious text is all about, yeah, but you can be saved if you pay money. I mean, like, and then to be afraid of the 9.3% of people in the entire United States. Since when does being gay, bi, lesbian affect your faith? We're living a diverse lifestyle, right? We're living a lifestyle that we are comfortable with. We're not there going, oh my gosh, let's just attack Christians. Oh my gosh. It's the Christians that are running with fear. They are actively afraid of people who have these diverse lifestyles because they don't understand it, because they're not allowed to think. They're not allowed to question. They're not allowed to say, oh, well, if the Bible says this, why are we doing this? Because they're shit scared of being kind of outcasted and sort of seen as a heretic. They're not allowed to think. They're just told, spend, 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 you get into heaven, everything's good. No, it's not how life works. Not even close. All right, let's carry on with this article. Like I said, I'm trying my best to keep a straight face. I mean, we live in, like I said, we live in clown world. If you thought clown world existed during the Biden's administration, you'd be wrong. This is clown world. And I use that term lightly because it's just so funny. People getting so easily effing offended. It's ridiculous. We pagans don't get offended. When we're at work, right, we're busy typing away, we're doing manual labor, whatever the situation is, we're not receiving emails going, oh my gosh, this offends me. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We're going to attack, right? Okay, let's carry on. Even worse, the queer community and its collaborators have foresaid the base cultural practices such as including one's pronouns in email signatures. Give me a fucking break. Jesus wept. What are we doing here in America? Oh, look, It's an email signature, and that email signature might offend you. Oh my gosh, turn the person in because they dared to use a different signature. They're still an employee. They're still hired to do a job. They're still bloody human. And if you lose your shit over a signature or pronouns, that's not on the pagan community. That's not on the LGBTQIA community. That's on you. Because if you are so easily offended, then it just shows what kind of shallow person you are. I mean, I hate to be a bitch about it, but it's true. If you, like, these clowns, right, have no idea. It's like, the only people now who can argue this politically have to be Christians. There are countless gay, bi, straight, lesbian, whatever in the workplace. We're not after stealing you young. I mean, look at the war on drag queens, right? Everybody has big issues with drag queens. But it's based on paranoia. Like, men have been dressing up as women for a very long time. In theatre, it was always done, especially in pantomimes, but you didn't see people picketing. You didn't see people taking to social media and attacking. This is only that this has been building up. Now, truth be told, you know, the Biden administration did kind of maybe go a little bit too far. And again, I'm not going to say who, you know, I try to stay neutral in politics. But when you look at American culture as a whole, maybe things did get too far, but they got too far for a reason, right? Okay, let's continue. I'm still trying to keep a straight face reading this. I really am. Christians seem to get offended at everything, right? Oh my gosh, you look different. You can't be Christian. Oh my gosh, you might be doing an Islamic prayer. You can't be Christian. Oh boy, I'm going to try and make it through this paragraph. I really am. Oh boy. Focus. The mind shudders to think what other perils this tiny, helpless sect may have faced over the course of Biden's reign of terror. It's possible a Christian was made to sit next to a colleague wearing a hijab. Oh my gosh. I'm trying. I'm really trying. A Christian might have been tangentially aware that someone else in the department chose to have an abortion. Big fucking deal. Dear Christians, we as women are in control of our bodies. You are not. Part of the big fucking reason why there's so much aggression is because we as women are sick and tired of men coming along and looking at us differently because maybe we've had an abortion, maybe we haven't. Why do you get so offended over something that is out of your control? Whether it offends your faith or not, it's out of your control. If a woman wants to have an abortion, they want to have an abortion. It doesn't make them a bad person. Maybe they've gone through things, right? Maybe they were underage. Whatever the situation, it's not for men to dictate and to then attack women because they do this, right? Oh boy, like I said, I'm trying to keep a straight face. I really am. Worst of all, a Christian may have been forced to make a departmental Instagram post on March 31st of last year commemorating Transgender Day of Visibility, a sinister plot to eradicate Christian celebration of Easter by the nation's transgender puppet masters who picked the date in 2009. Known that in a mere 15 years later, it would coincide with the Christian holy day. Guess what? We as transgender people don't care if you're Christian. I'm just saying, we don't care. What we care about is equality. What we care about is the right to work, the right to be who we want to be without persecution. Boy, batshit craziness. I'll tell you. All right. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you get the general gist of this. It's meant to be sarcasm. I will say that if the Christians are such a minority, then what? Like in America state, now we're turning people in just because they use a pronoun, just because they may not be Christian. This is the level of batshit clown world craziness that we have come to, where the Christians are now becoming more and more paranoid. Oh my gosh, it's a transgender person, run away. I'm a transgender person. Am I bad? No. Am I demonic? I mean, I'm the dark lady. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, we live in a country that's gone from 0 to 100 in the space of a couple of months. And now that needle has gone beyond 100. And now people are losing their shit. Oh my gosh, it's a signature in an email. Grow up, deal with it. My message to Christians watching this is grow the hell up. Welcome to the diverse world. Women can wear hijabs if they choose to. Gay, bi, straight, lesbian people can exist because they want to. It's not your place to start attacking. It's not your place to demonize and to report and to turn people in. And like I said, if the pride flag offends you, if pronouns offends you, you've got bigger problems than just the workplace. You've got bigger problems than, trying to make ends meet. And those problems are on you. So there we go for the stream. I did set with sarcastic, tried my best. What do you guys think of this lunacy? I mean, have you guys experienced this in the workplace yet? How do you feel this is either going to get better or worse? I'm predicting it's going to get worse. We live in clown world. We live in America that's just, it's a bit like a nation on steroids, but 10 times worse. And I think it's just going to get worse. I think when we have these different bills coming in, it's not going to make working easier, but what you're going to do is effectively create a prison state without realizing it's a prison state. So there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Join me later for a tarot reading for Witchcraft TV. I am the one and only Lady Selena. If you like what we do here, go to witchcrafttv.online. We are your one-stop shop for all things wondrous. We have merch. Yes, we do. At witchcraft-tv.print. Find me. Go get your merch today. Help support the channel. For Witchcraft TV, I'll be back with more. Till later. Next time.